Welcome back to Reddit Tales. Today's story is about a proposal that turned into a brutal confession about being a backup plan. As you listen, think about where you would have drawn the line. I never thought I'd be the kind of guy to write something like this, but here we are. For context, I'm 28 and I had been dating Lena, 27, for almost 4 years when everything fell apart. To everyone else, we looked solid. We lived together in a modest apartment, split the rent, shared the same friend group, and talked about marriage in vague, future tense ways. Well, I talked about marriage. She usually brushed it off with a "yeah, someday," and I told myself that was just her style. I was raised to believe that when you love someone, you give them everything you can. And with Lena, that's exactly what I did. I worked a steady IT job. Nothing flashy, but enough to keep us comfortable. I picked up extra projects on the side, not because I loved the work, but because she talked a lot about wanting a big wedding and a nice honeymoon. I wanted to give her that. Looking back, this was the first place I stopped asking whether the effort was mutual. I cut back on things I enjoyed. No new car, no expensive hobbies, fewer nights out with friends. Every extra dollar went into savings with one clear purpose: a ring. When I finally picked one out, it wasn't some oversized diamond you see online, but it was elegant. It took me nearly 8 months of disciplined saving, and I remember sitting in my car in the jeweler's parking lot, holding the box, thinking this was the start of the rest of our lives. The plan was simple: dinner at her favorite restaurant, the kind of place we only went to for birthdays or anniversaries. After that, a walk through the park nearby. There's a small footbridge there, lit with string lights, where we took photos early in our relationship. That's where I planned to kneel, nothing flashy, just meaningful. I only told one person, my best friend Eric. He clapped me on the shoulder and said, "She's going to love it, you two are solid." And I believed him. In hindsight, there had been signs. Little jokes at my expense that felt sharper than playful. Casual comparisons to other guys, someone else's promotion, someone else's car. I brushed it off. Nobody's perfect, and I didn't want to be the guy who nitpicked. Besides, she was beautiful and charming, the kind of person who could walk into a room and own it without trying. I always felt lucky she'd chosen me. That feeling should have been a warning. The night came. I dressed up, hands sweating even as I tried to act normal. She wore a black dress I loved, her hair done in soft curls. At dinner, I barely tasted my food. My hand kept brushing the ring box in my jacket pocket. I thought I was about to create the happiest memory of my life. Dinner went smoothly, or so it seemed. She was relaxed, sipping wine, telling stories about her coworkers. When the plates were cleared, I suggested a walk. She hesitated, said she was tired, but eventually agreed. My heart was pounding as we stepped into the cool night air. The park was quiet, a few couples here and there. The footbridge glowed softly under the string lights. It felt perfect. I stopped in the middle, turned to her, and tried to steady my voice. I told her the last 4 years with her had been the best of my life. That I tried to be the kind of man who supported her and loved her the way she deserved. That I wanted to keep doing that for the rest of my life. Then I dropped to one knee and opened the box. Her eyes widened, but not with tears or joy. It looked more like amusement. I asked her to marry me. For a moment she was silent, then she laughed, not nervous, not overwhelmed, more like a scoff. "I mean, sure," she said slowly. "I'll say yes." Relief hit me for half a second, then she kept talking. "But let's be real," she added, smirking. "It's only until someone better comes along." That was the moment everything shifted. I asked her what she meant. She crossed her arms like I was being unreasonable. She told me I wasn't her dream guy, that I was fine, stable, safe. That everyone settles eventually. She said if someone taller, richer, more ambitious showed up, why should she turn that down? This wasn't honesty. It was contempt. I stood up, closed the ring box, and slid it back into my jacket. My hands had stopped shaking. My voice was calm when I told her there was no point. That I didn't save, plan, and put my heart into this just to be someone's placeholder. I wished her luck finding her better option and walked off the bridge. She called after me, told me not to be dramatic. But I didn't stop. The walk back to the car felt unreal. My body moved on autopilot while her words replayed in my head. When we got home, she acted like nothing had happened, kicked off her heels, turned on Netflix, asked if I was seriously sulking. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just said I was going to bed. That night, lying next to her, I realized how alone you can feel even when someone is right beside you. I had been planning a future with someone who saw me as a backup plan, not a partner. The next morning, she was irritated that I was distant. She said most guys would kill to hear yes. I told her most guys wouldn't be okay with being a consolation prize. She rolled her eyes and called me too sensitive. At that point, what would you have done? The days after were quiet. I didn't fight. I didn't confront her. I detached. I went to work, came home, ate, slept. I stopped sharing my thoughts. I was already gone emotionally. When I finally told Eric what she'd said, he stared at me and called it cruelty. I couldn't disagree. Lena, meanwhile, told people we were engaged. She even showed off the ring she never actually had. She told friends I was overreacting and that I'd calm down. That's when it clicked. She didn't see me as a person. I was a role, provider, safety net, disposable. So I packed a bag and moved in with Eric. No fight, no dramatic goodbye, just silence. Within weeks, she was posting all over social media with a new guy. Tall, flashy, expensive watch, fancy captions about finding someone on her level. Friends sent me screenshots without me asking. Honestly, it didn't hurt the way I expected. It just confirmed that what she said during the proposal wasn't a joke. It was who she was. Later, the truth came out. The car was leased. The watch was fake. The apartment wasn't his. He was between jobs and she was covering most of the bills. Then came her messages, casual at first, then late-night calls, then drunk texts about missing stability. This is where a lot of people cave. I didn't. While her life unraveled, mine quietly improved. Without the constant tension, I focused on work. I got promoted. I moved into a place I actually liked. For the first time in years, my life felt peaceful. I met someone new slowly. Someone who listened. Someone who didn't mock or compare. Someone real. The last time I saw Lena was at a mutual friend's housewarming. She rushed over like we were old soulmates, apologized, minimized, tried to rewrite history. When that didn't work, she accused me of throwing everything away over one mistake. I didn't argue. I just walked away. A week later, she sent one final message asking for another chance. I replied once. I told her that the moment she said I was just a backup, everything ended for me, that I didn't throw us away. She did. Then I blocked her. The irony is simple. The label she gave me became the role she ended up in. And I didn't need a backup anymore. My life was moving forward and hers was just noise I'd finally muted. Here are the lessons from this story. Lesson 1. If someone agrees to commit while openly keeping one foot out the door, that is not love. Lesson 2. Stability should be appreciated, not mocked or used as a fallback. Lesson 3. Cruel honesty without respect is still cruelty. Lesson 4. Walking away calmly can be more powerful than any argument. Lesson 5. You don't lose the right person by respecting yourself. What would you have done if you heard those words during a proposal? And have you ever realized too late that someone saw you as a backup instead of a partner? Share your thoughts in the comments.